Okay. Hello aspirants, welcome to AK Science Academy. I am Siddharth Gautam, Faculty of Indian Economy. Okay. So as part of this session, we'll be understanding the taxation system in India. Okay. Yeah. So before understanding what is the subject of taxation, what are the different types of taxes that we have in India, let us understand the basic concept of taxation. Like what is tax? First of all, let us understand what is tax. Tax is the compulsory payment. It is the compulsory payment that is levied on individual and entities. Individuals and entities. Now, when we say it as the compulsory payment, what do you understand by it? It means that the payment of the tax is not optional. The payment of the tax is not optional. You do not have the luxury of escaping the tax. You do not have the luxury of escaping the tax. If certain percentage of the tax is imposed on your income, or if it is imposed on the country's income, that company or that entity or that individual need to pay that percentage of his income as the tax to the government. Clear? So now the tax or the concept of taxation in India explains that it is the process through which the government generates revenue, or the government collects revenue to finance public expenditure and developmental activities. To finance the public expenditure and the developmental activities. So, the regular expenditure that is incurred by the government and the assets or the infrastructure that is created by the government is promoted and is facilitated through the system of the revenue that is earned by the government through the process of the taxation. The taxation is the source of earning, or it is the source of revenue for the government. Clear? Now, in a country like India, why the taxation is important, or what is the importance of taxation? First, as we have discussed earlier, the revenue generation is possible through the taxation. The revenue generation is possible through the system of taxation because we have the income tax, which is part of direct tax. We have the goods and services tax, which is part of the indirect tax. Now, these kind of taxes earns revenue to the government, or the income of the government is earned through these taxes. That is the first importance. The second importance is the redistribution of wealth. The redistribution of wealth. What is the meaning of the term redistribution? Redistribution is nothing but collecting a resource or collecting a particular object or a particular thing from the people who have excess of it and distributing it to the other people who are deprived of it. That is what is called as the redistribution of wealth. Now here what is happening is that in a country like India, by imposing the taxes or by imposing the higher income taxes on those individuals who are earning higher levels of income, we are using that money for the developmental activities to create the infrastructure, to provide the health services, to provide the education. So the social welfare schemes that are brought in by the government are promoted and are funded through the taxes or through the revenue that we have been generating through the concept of taxation. That is the another advantage. And the third importance of the tax is the economic regulation. Economic regulation. What do you understand by the term economic regulation? It is through the instrument of taxation, or by using taxation as an instrument, the government is trying to regulate the consumption. How does the government aims to regulate the consumption? Through the concept of taxation. For example, we have this sin goods. a particular sin good is the cigarette. Now, to decrease the consumption of tobacco, the government tries to increase the percentage of the tax that is collected on the cigarette. As a consequence of that, the cigarette becomes unaffordable. The prices of the cigarettes will increase, leading to decreased consumption. Clear? So the increased consumption of the sin goods can be decreased by increasing the percentage of the tax that is collected through this particular product. That is the first thing. Or for example, in order to create employment, in order to boost the economy, now the taxes that are imposed on the companies are decreased. Now the companies will not pay the same amount of the tax that they are paying earlier because the tax has been decreased. As a consequence of that, the company will choose your region or your country to invest or to set up their company. Point number one. As a consequence of that, the employment is created. Point number two. As a consequence of that, there is increase in GDP. Now, these are the advantages. These are the advantages of the taxation system, or these are the, the importance. These are the ways through which we can conclude the fact that the concept of efficient taxation system is very important in a country like India. Clear? Now, based upon the incidents and based upon the impact, based upon the incidence and the impact, the tax system in India is divided into the direct taxes and indirect taxes. Clear? Thank you.